This regular board meeting of the Waco Independent School Board is hereby called to order. All items which may be discussed or voted upon this evening have been posted as required by state law. I do want to extend a warm welcome to those present and to all of our television viewers. The board's purpose is to set goals, listen to reports of the superintendent, approve budgets, contracts, and personnel appointments, and to make policy for the district. We are not here to make management decisions or solve problems of individuals. Management is the responsibility of the superintendent and her staff. Right now, I would ask if you would please turn your cell phones to silent, if you have not done so already. We really do appreciate the time that you have taken to join us here and for your interest in Waco ISD. Esta Junta Regular de Waco ISD está convocada. Les extiendo un amable bienvenidos a todos los que están presentes y los que nos observan por televisión. También les quiero compartir que todas las conferencias están disponibles en la página de Waco ISD YouTube el lunes después de la conferencia. En esta página pueden escoger su idioma, así toda la información que fue discutida es disponible para todos. Por favor, apagar su teléfono celular y les agradecemos el tiempo que comparten con nosotros y su interés en Waco ISD. Okay, moving on to agenda item number 2, moment of silence. So if you would just please pause with me as we take time for prayer, contemplation, reflection, and meditation. Thank you. And the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, board, if you would meet me in front of the dais, and the rest of you can be seated.
Good evening, Madam President, trustees, Dr. Kincannon. Each month, one campus selects 2 students to lead the Pledge of Allegiance for the regular meeting of the Waco ISD Board of Trustees. For the month of October, 2 students from West Avenue Elementary were chosen for this honor. Juan De Paz and Shyla Futrell were selected for this honor tonight. Juan is in 5th grade and he likes to draw. He's currently undecided about a career after high school. Thank you to his mother, Jessica Vinces, for being here tonight and sharing your amazing son with us. Shyla is in the 5th grade also, and her favorite subject is math. She plays tennis and likes art. When she grows up, she wants to be a teacher. Thank you to her father, Trent Futrell, for sharing your wonderful daughter with us and being here tonight. And thank you to Principal Bonnie Trammell for sharing your amazing students with us. Next, we have our Advanced Placement Scholar Award recognition. Students receive this designation of Advanced Placement Scholar through hard work, high academic achievement on their AP course exams. The award of AP Scholar with Distinction is awarded to students who receive an average score of at least 3.5 on all AP exams taken, and the scores of 3 or higher on 5 or more of these exams. Ann Hoagie is a Waco High School student who earned AP Scholar with Distinction Award. Hogue. Ann Hogue, I apologize. Amazing. Congratulations. Our next two sets of students will be receiving banners tonight that are going to be hanging in their campus for years to come. So without further ado, let's get started with our National Merit Commended Scholars. The National Merit Scholarship Program is a national academic competition for high school students to provide financial aid to attend college. It is administered by the National Merit Scholarship Corporation. To qualify for the National Merit Scholarship Program, students must take the preliminary SAT, National Merit Scholarship qualifying test in the fall of their junior year. 2 Waco High School seniors have been named National Merit Commended Scholars in the 69th Annual National Merit Scholarship Program. These students scored in the top 3% of students taking the 2021 PSAT on an achievement that fewer than 34,000 students across the nation have earned. First, we have Samuel Everett, who plans to attend Rice University with a double major in math and chemical physics. He would like to become a natural sciences professor. Everett serves on the student council, plays on the school tennis team, is a member of the National Honor Society, works part-time at an ice cream store, and is an avid ping pong player. Congratulations. Next, we have Jude Wendell, and he's leaning towards attending Texas A&M University and is interested in pursuing a career in culinary arts. Wendell enjoys volunteering through community outreach activities and enjoys webcomics and video gaming. Congratulations. I'd like to invite Principal McAdoo over for these recognitions, please. Next, we have our College Board National African American and Hispanic Recognition Awards. In August 2023, the College Board awarded thousands of students from across the country with academic honors for the annual College Board National Recognition Programs for excelling in their classrooms on College Board assessments. High-achieving students from all 50 states and U.S. territories were eligible to apply to 4 programs, including the National African American Recognition Award and the National Hispanic Recognition Award program. This year, we have 31 Waco ISD students, which are recipients for our National African American Recognition Award or the National Hispanic Recognition Award. This more than triples the amount that we had last year. So we're really, really proud of them. And I do want to include that 27 of these 31 are also superintendent scholars. University high school students are as follows: for Nara, Jaslyn Davis, Jai Tyrell Kendricks, come up when your name's called, yes. So you're going to walk through and shake hands, and then at the end, you're going to receive your banner for your photo. And then we're going to do a group photo with each campus, and then one big group photo at the end. It's not his turn yet. I'm sorry, this is Kevin Gutierrez for the NHRA Award. Tania's here. Next, we have Tania Wicks. And for the National Hispanic Recognition Award, we have Daniel Angulo. Next, we have Ramiro Castillo. Next, we have Giselle Favela. Next, we have Ileana Garcia. Valerie Garcia Perez. Eleni Gonzalez. Skylar Goodman. Kevin Gutierrez. Donata Hernandez. Araceli Herrera. Andres Levano. Sarah Olguin. Joshua Olvera. Elena Ortiz. Happy birthday. Blanca Torres. Steven Uceda. And Emmanuel Zuniga. And not here tonight are Emilio Lopez, Daisy Barco, and Jaslyn Davis actually received the National African American Recognition Award and the National Hispanic Recognition Award. And now we'd like to take a UHS group picture. All right, hold up your banner. There you go. Yeah, get in here.
Oh.
Okay, and don't leave because we're going to take a big group picture after Waco High, okay? If y'all want to just go back to that, around that area, and we'll call you back out shortly. Yes, back over here, and then we're going to take a huge group picture with Waco High. Okay, next we have Waco High. I'd like to make sure that Principal Magruder is over here with us. Thank you, sir. And for the National Hispanic Recognition Award winners, we have Yesenia Antonio. Cassandra Garcia. Anthony Gonzalez. Luis Gonzalez. Juan Medina. Aiden Ortiz. And Ethan Zimmerman. And not here tonight for the National African American Recognition Award are Justice Allen and Aaliyah Matthews. Okay, now we want to get our Waco High students out here and take a group picture, please. Let's get our Waco High kids. Y'all look amazing. It's the money shot. Okay, now let's stay here and let's invite University back out and take a huge picture. Yes, sir. We're going to have some of you guys stand on the back. So Wendy's working with them back there. We'll have some come in.
You know the mics are live. They're live. Green light's on.
I want to say it's for me. I could like right? No, it's not on.
Hello. Hello, Mark 3.
I want to take one. Yeah, it is.
All right, everyone hold up your banner. Y'all look really great. Congratulations. We're extremely proud of each one of you. I think Miss Miller is going to take your banner so that we can hang it at your campus. Congratulations, everyone. Okay, that was amazing. Next, we have our Texas Thespians Teacher of the Month. Texas Thespians, an affiliate chapter of the Education Theater Association, is one of the largest chapters in the nation. Okay. The Texas Thespians, an affiliate chapter of the Education Theater Association, is one of the largest chapters in the nation. A chapter is established to support the mission of the Educational Theater Association's student honor organization, the International Thespian Society. Here to accept the award for Catherine Davis, who is actually at her musical tonight, is Miss Cheryl Davis. Catherine Davis was named by the Texas Thespians as Teacher of the Month for September 2023. Congratulations. And next, we have a very special person to recognize here tonight, our College Board National Advisory Council. The board is a mission-driven, not-for-profit organization that connects students to college success and opportunity. The membership association is made up of over 6,000 of the world's leading educational institutions and is dedicated to promoting the excellence and equity in education. We are so proud to share that the College Board has elected Waco ISD Superintendent Dr. Susan Kincannon to its National Superintendent's Advisory Council. The council is designed to ensure the College Board receives valuable input to refine its programs and services, and the Advisory Council shares ideas for best practices about educational improvement and engages College Board leaders on how they can add value to the educational institutions and students that they all serve. Advisory Council members provide College Board with guidance on key issues and initiatives and help ensure a balance of regional and professional perspectives. And we're so proud of Dr. Kincannon. And last but certainly not least, we have our Community Partner Award. Each month, Waco ISD recognizes a community partner making a difference for students and staff in the Waco ISD community with the award for Outstanding Community Partner. The recognition celebrates the theme for the 2023-2024 school year, Lead for Results, and acknowledges the impact our community partners make in the lives of our students and staff. In October, the district is recognizing Voice, a nonprofit with a mission to empower children and their families to lead healthy and productive lives by promoting success in education. Voice serves Waco ISD by partnering with Waco High and Kendrick Elementary Schools through the Adopt a School program. They also help high school students plan for college, conduct a teen leadership program, make red ribbon presentations, and distribute awareness items, including bracelets. They volunteer for and supply Family Fest t-shirts, and they provide students with school supplies. They most recently sponsored an outdoor learning space at Mountain View Elementary School that has enhanced the outdoor classroom for use for stress relief and for SEL activities for staff and students. And we are so grateful to you. Thank you so much. That concludes our special recognitions for tonight.
Okay. Surprised no one has stayed for the rest of the board meeting. It's just as exciting. I don't. Okay. Public comments. Has anyone signed up? No one. Okay. So we'll move on to number 5, Superintendent's Report. Dr. Kincannon.
All right, good evening, and thank you for honoring those students. I'm so proud of those national recognitions for our students, and hope we can increase that next year. That was a big jump for us and really exciting times. I want to talk about a few things this evening. Just want to mention our high school musicals. We have some really talented staff and students and directors who have been working hard to put on the musical productions. We had sold-out audiences this past weekend for the SpongeBob musical at Waco High School. And tonight begins Madagascar with its opening run at University High School. And there are 2 more chances for you to see Madagascar once Friday evening and Saturday evening at 7:00 p.m. I'm planning to go Saturday evening, so if you would want to come, I would love to have you join me on Saturday. Also want to say congratulations to all of the students and staff who have brought those stories to life and really have showcased the diverse strengths within our high school fine arts program. So thank you. And thank you to those of you who attended SpongeBob. Next Wednesday, our families will begin to enjoy Thanksgiving family meals at our schools. This is really a special annual tradition for our students, staff, and families. And I want to thank our Child Nutrition Services team for their planning and preparation efforts. I believe we've already been sharing the calendar, and I know campuses have been sharing. We'll continue to share that on all of our accounts. 2 things to note there. We have both lunch and dinner times. We started dinner, I believe, last year. It was highly successful, and some schools have taken that on this year. So some of our larger campuses will have those evening meals, and not necessarily at their home campus. Some of those are held at our high schools. Really special event for our families. We are passing around a spreadsheet, a Google Doc actually, for board members who are interested. Feel free to sign up, and our administrators are also signing up to join our campuses. Tomorrow is the day we've been waiting for, our official snapshot date. It's the last Friday in October every year. And this is, of course, for our 23-24 school year, our official counts that'll be on the books. And we have until tomorrow to refine the data, but as of today, we had 13,495 students. That's about 329 students less than last year and about a 2.4% decrease overall. 61.6 of our students who are enrolled are Hispanic. About 27% of our students are African American. About 8% of our students are white, and nearly 3% of our students are coded as 2 or more races. We have approximately 90.3% of our students coded as economically disadvantaged, and 25.2% are limited English proficient, also known as emergent bilinguals. And then 15.9% of our students are in special education. So that's a significant, tomorrow's a significant date for us in terms of getting that data to the state and our counts. Also important, I think my chair may not have gotten the same chair when we switched. But also important tomorrow is a realignment count for UIL. This comes every 2 years, and it's a reclassification process. It's based on enrollment and then other changes across the state to configurations in high schools. And so what we're looking at Waco High is 1,844 students, and at University High School, 1,786 students. So we won't know the official classification cutoffs until the UIL releases that information in February, but we do believe, based on the numbers and the last realignment, that Waco High could possibly move to 5A Division II, which is the same division that University High School is in. And we do think that's a good thing for Waco High School. So we'll keep you posted when the UIL releases that information in February. Any questions about UIL or PEIMS? Snapshot. All right, next item is the accountability lawsuit update. Everyone knows that I testified at the temporary injunction hearing for the accountability lawsuit on October the 10th at the Travis County Civil Courthouse in Austin. That was a really great experience for me, and I will tell you that I was very proud to be there to represent our district, our community, our students, our staff. Really phenomenal and quite interesting. There were 4 superintendents who testified on the plaintiff and the intervener's side. You guys know that we were an intervener. Myself, Kingsville, Leander, and Spring Branch. Each of us had over 30 years of experience in public education, and we were able to share how the changes to the accountability system impacted our districts. Our TEA witnesses did not have 30 years of experience. The commissioner was not there, and there were some staffers there, but they admitted that TEA did not meet the statutory requirements in the Texas Education Code to provide districts with performance measures, methods, and procedures that will be used to assign performance ratings. And to this date, we still don't yet have the accountability manual. They also admitted that they did not intend to roll out a new test and a new accountability system at the same time, and that there was not any statutory requirement that they do so. For me, sitting there and listening to the testimony of my fellow superintendents and the TEA staff, I just felt more convicted about what I've always felt about state testing, which is that we put too much emphasis on it, and those tests only measure what they measure, and they don't really tell the story of the success of our students and our schools. And I think beyond that, quite frankly, I left with just a really bad taste in my mouth for state testing process in general, and TEA's approach and care for our schools, and the implementation of such a high-stakes testing system. And I really think they're out of touch with what's happening in our school districts, and I think they could use better care to take care of us. So some good news came in about 5:30 this afternoon. I'm really excited about it, and we just learned that the judge granted the temporary injunction so that those ratings would not be released. That's good news. So we won that one, and from there, I believe the lawsuit will continue, but and they can appeal certainly, but we won the first round of that with that temporary injunction. Any questions about the lawsuit? You're welcome. It's my pleasure. Okay, Transformation Waco, I want to talk about the annual evaluation, the performance contract, and then some transition planning. On June 29th, 2018, Transformation Waco assumed the performance contract to operate 5 Waco ISD campuses. That was Alta Vista Elementary, Brook Avenue Elementary, J.H. Hines Elementary, G.W. Carver Middle School, and Indian Spring Middle School. So this is the 6th year of Transformation Waco operating those campuses, and that contract initiated by Waco ISD ends on June the 15th of this next year, 2024, just 7.5 months from now. Our local policy requires that the board evaluate each campus charter against the performance standards established by the board. Those standards are found in the district's contract with Transformation Waco, and over half of the evaluation metrics specified in the contract are based on student performance on the STAR test and on campus accountability ratings by the state. Other metrics include student attendance, teacher and parent satisfaction, and financial data. As you know, we don't have any campus ratings yet this year, and the state made significant changes in regards to the scale score cuts, which ultimately impact student performance levels. So there are 2 things at play here. First, the lawsuit against the Commissioner of Education, and then second, the special session of the Texas legislature, and both of those things and the uncertainty make it challenging to know where schools really stand in terms of student achievement. And as of today, again, we still don't know yet what our ratings will be or what the methodologies would be should we get ratings this year. And we might not. I actually saw a bill that would freeze, actually would get a rating, but it would be based on 2022, and they might freeze that for 3 years. But we don't know if that'll happen, and we don't know of any other changes that they could make that would have an impact on individual student results. So all of that uncertainty makes it difficult for us to evaluate Transformation Waco against the established metrics that were approved by the board. So with the June 15th expiration of the contract with Transformation Waco, we need to begin planning for what's next. Yesterday, in a letter to their families and staff, Transformation Waco shared plans to restructure as a nonprofit focused exclusively on providing wraparound services after the contract ends. And so at the same time, we're ready to move the operation of the 4 remaining schools because we closed Indian Spring with the opening of G.W. Carver, but we're ready to move the 4 back to the district. We think it's a good time to do so, and I want to share some more about that. But first, I want to say thank you to Transformation Waco for its work to support students and families over the last few years. Had it not been for them in 2018, 2019, the state would have either closed Brook Avenue Elementary or replaced our elected school board with an appointed board of managers. And we've seen just how disruptive that can be in Houston. Also want to point out that Transformation Waco provided invaluable support during some of the hardest years in public education during the pandemic. So we're thankful to Transformation Waco for the ways that they served our students, especially by increasing wraparound services through various programs and initiatives. Yeah, it's worth clapping for. Thank you. In addition to a 2-year pause in accountability ratings, the partnership also qualified the schools for additional funding. However, with a reduction of funding by the state in 2019 when House Bill 3 changed funding from an adjustment to the basic allotment to a separate allotment for small and mid-sized districts, Transformation Waco campuses began to receive less than half of what they initially received. Originally, they were getting about $3.1 million per year, And with the 2019 legislative changes, they went to approximately 1.8 million per year, and then it dropped to 1.6 million in 22-23, and this year it's projected to be $1.3 million. Now, like Waco ISD, federal ESSER funds were available, and so they provided Transformation Waco with some additional funding to support their programs and initiatives while the state money was decreased. But that, we all know that funding is going away in 2024. So moving the operation of the campuses back to Waco ISD, I believe will benefit our students and staff. And first, this one I'm most passionate about is being able to ensure continuity of instruction across the district. And that's important because our students are highly mobile. So when a student moves from one campus to another, we want to provide equitable instruction, and we don't want them to have gaps in their learning. And so when they move, if we're all following the same scope and sequence documents, then they can literally pick up right in the same in the sequence of the work. So that would be a benefit to our students and certainly to the schools. Also, moving the campuses back to Waco ISD will provide some efficiencies. Quite frankly, professional development would be one. We're duplicating some things, but they're not participating in all of the things that we offer, so we'd like to pull them in and have some unity and make sure all of our teachers are getting the same training. There'd be some efficiencies in training school leaders and then other program areas. So I think overall, we would have better consistency and unity for the district as a whole. And then finally, I just want to say, when Transformation Waco and Waco ISD entered into the partnership, I've been told that it was with the understanding that the schools would eventually transition back to the district. And so the partnership was initiated in response to the urgent threat of a state closure or takeover, and it was never the intention for Transformation Waco to operate the schools in perpetuity. So that's what I have. Be happy to answer any questions.
I want to echo what Dr. Kincannon said. I really do want to express my gratitude to the Transformation Waco's board and to their executive director for stepping up during a time that was very difficult for Waco ISD as we were facing the closure of 5 schools. And so really want to extend my thanks for their service. And 5 years ago, well, 6 years ago, I had my daughter, and it was so important to me that the zone be established so that we would keep our schools open, that 4 days after I had my daughter, while she was still in the NICU, I made sure that I was at this meeting to vote for the transformation zone. And I think I'm just really thankful that they provided a stabilizing factor in the community, ensuring that those schools stayed open. And I also agree that the initial thought on the zone was always to kind of, that Waco ISD would reabsorb those schools. So I am thankful for all the work that they've done, and that's all I got.
One word, I would also like to extend thanks to their board for reaching out into the community and supporting these schools like they have done. They have a very active board with some really, really wonderful people on it, and they're passionate about students, and we recognize that, and we want to make sure that we say thank you to them for stepping in as well.
Great. Okay, moving on to item number, or any other questions, Dr. Cannon? Okay. Moving on to number 6, we will open up this time for public meeting on the 2023 Financial Management Report, School First. Cheryl Davis.
So tonight we have our annual report on our financial accountability. This is a requirement under law that we hold this public meeting every year. We received our ratings back in August, preliminary ratings, and if we don't protest them, they become final. When you get superior achievement, you don't really protest them. So anyway, so, as we've talked about before, this was authorized by the legislature in 1999. At the time that School First was initially authorized, there were a lot of issues in public education finance. There was a lot of districts that were almost had zero fund balances, and TEA was having to step in and put monitors in. So they decided that they needed a system to give TEA early warning as well about districts that might be in financial trouble. So the primary goal was to achieve improved performance in the management of school district resources. It went from just a few indicators when it started to now 20 indicators. There are 5 critical indicators, most of which have always been there from the beginning, 9 solvency indicators, and 6 financial competence indicators. The measurement of those has changed somewhat over the years. Critical indicators have always been yes, no indicators. You either fail it or you don't. The ceiling indicators, these are fairly new. They've only been in the last couple of years, and they do limit what you can overall achieve in your performance based on what you do on those indicators. And then the other indicators are 0 to 10 points based on performance. So the annual management report, we have to produce a report each year that has the information from the study, and you have a copy in your agenda. I also have copies available for the public if they want one. We have to have that. We have to explain the district's performance on those indicators, including a comparison to the prior year. That's a requirement. The public hearing, again, we have to conduct the public hearing, publish the notice of the public hearing in the local newspaper, and then receive public input. So the indicators, these are the critical indicators, and basically, was your audit filed on time, or your annual financial report filed on time? Was there an unmodified opinion? I know unmodified, sometimes people are like, unmodified, but that's good. And was the school district in compliance with the payment terms on all of our debt agreements, not in default on debt? And did we make all of our timely payments into state system, teacher retirement, Texas Workforce Commission, the Internal Revenue Service, all of our taxes? And then was the total unrestricted net position balance on the governmental activities column greater than 0? This indicator has not been scored for a number of years now. I'm not quite sure why they still even have it as an indicator, because it's been 4 or 5, maybe 6 years that they haven't scored it. The reason that they don't score it any longer is because with the implementation of 2 GASB pronouncements, we had to start booking the district share of the state's pension liability and their OPEB, as they call it, but optional benefits, employee benefits liability. So those are significant, and most districts ended up with a negative net position once they booked those 2 items. So they have not scored that, as I said, for a number of years. The others these are the solvency indicators, and they look at the changes in fund balance over 3 years, the number of days of cash on hand, so your cash position, and then the measure of current assets to current liabilities, general fund revenues to cover expenditures, variance between the percent when comparing the budgeted revenues to actual revenues, how good your estimates were. I have to admit, our estimates have not been great the last couple of years, but we're still actually getting our points for that. Was the ratio of long-term liabilities to total assets sufficient to support long-term solvency? The debt per $100 of assessed property value ratio sufficient to support future debt repayments? And was the administrative cost ratio equal to or less than the threshold ratio? And then was there not a 15% decline in the students to staff ratio over the 3 years? Competence indicators, then they talk about the actual ADA within the allotted range of the biennial projection submitted to TEA. Again, one that we have had some surprises with estimating that the last few years, so but we still passed that. And did the comparison of PEIMS data to the information on the annual financial report result in a total variance of less than 3%? I don't think we've ever had a variance of more than 0.5%, much less 3%. Did the external audit report that the annual financial report was free of any material weaknesses? Were we in compliance with, was there no material non-compliance of grants, contracts, and laws? And was the required financial information posted on the district's website? And were property values discussed at a board meeting, which we did this summer within 120 days of adopting the budget? So other things that will be in the book that we publish is the superintendent's current contract. Now, this information is based on the financial data from the 21-22 school year. It takes TEA that long to kind of come out and rate us. We don't actually submit that 21-22 until the end of January, and like I said, they come out in August with the results. And so then also a schedule of lodging, meals, travel for the superintendent and board, any outside compensation that's been paid to the superintendent, which there was none. Schedule of gifts with an aggregate value in excess of $250, which we had none reported, and a schedule of business transactions between board members and the district. In that year, the only transactions we had was with Dupuis Oxygen, a small amount there. So the ratings, again, superior achievement is 90 to 100 points. Above standard is 80 to 89. C, meet standard is 70 to 79. And then substandard achievement is anything below a 70. And then you can get no rating if your data is so bad. If you have received territory under annexation with the school district that's been ordered by the commissioner, and we can get substandard achievement if our data is so bad that they can't even measure it. And in that case, we will have, they have to file a corrective action report, and there will be an accreditation visit possibly, and an assignment of a financial monitor or master if you're really bad. So the ceiling indicators, again, there are a few of those, and they basically will limit you to, because I can't even read that. So indicator 4, indicator 6, indicator 16, 17, and 20, they all have maximum points available, and if you don't score the maximum points, like indicator 4, you can only get a 95. Indicator 6 would reduce you to an 89. Indicator 16 would reduce you to an 89. Indicator 17 to a 79, and indicator 20 to an 89. So indicator 17 means there's a material weakness in your internal controls, and that really does reduce what you can achieve on School First. So, as I said, the district again received superior achievement. Our points were down some from what they were last year. Last year we did get a 98 out of 100 points. This year we got a 94 out of 100. We'll talk about that, why we lost 4 points. We scored yes to all of the critical indicators that were scored. We had maximum points for each of the solvency indicators with the exception of 11, 12, and 13. Although indicators 10 and 13 were not evaluated because of the ADA, the hold harmless that the state had put into place. And then a maximum points for each of the scored financial competence indicators. Indicator 15 was not evaluated. So, solvency indicator number 12. This is where we lost some points. What is the correlation between future debt requirements and the district's assessed property values? Now, the reason we lost a couple of points here is because we issued all that debt from the bond election. You know, over the last 2 years, we have now issued all of the $355 million in debt. And so that did result in a little bit lower rating for us. We're in that 8-point category. On solvency indicator 13, this is the district's administrative cost ratio. Is it equal to or less than the threshold ratio? And we have never received the whole 10 points in this category. We always receive 8 points. And a lot of that is because of the size of the district. We are compared in a group of districts that are over 10,000. So that includes, you know, Houston ISD at 350,000 kids. So it's a little bit harder for smaller districts to get the full points in that category. But we did improve some from last year. Last year it was 9.78. This year it was we went down a little bit from the prior year. It was a 9.33. So I think I missed one. Oh, sorry, I missed 11 there. So 11 was the ratio of long-term liabilities to total assets for the school district. Again, same issue. We issued all that bonded debt, and so we only scored 8 points on indicator number 11 as well. So that was not unexpected. I knew with us issuing that amount of debt that we would see take a little bit of a hit on our financial accountability. But overall, we're still at a 94 and in very good shape. So that's it. That's it for my report.
Okay. Since this is a public hearing or meeting, if there's wanting to see if there's any questions from the public or the board. I think my only question is, Ms. Davis, was the 94, you really wanted it to be like a 98, didn't you?
To be 100.
100, yes. I saw that Superior with a 94. I thought, oh, this kind of bugs Cheryl. But
And we'll start getting that debt paid down.
there you go. Okay. Well, that concludes the public meeting. Okay, we'll move on to number 7, information items and reports, with 7A with Robert Myers, McCurry, Valeska, Bragg, and Allen, the report on the 2023 delinquent tax collections. Welcome.
Board members, thank you very much, Dr. Kincannon, for having me tonight. I know this is probably the event you've been waiting for the entire evening. But I'll try to make it as painless as possible and as quick as possible if I can. I think I guess if I hit the button, this will go up. Is that correct?
Here comes Jerry. He's going to help him.
That one? Oh, there it goes. I've got it.
Yeah.
It's just too simple. The report I have for you tonight, let me back up a little bit. I'm Robert Myers. I'm an attorney with McCurry Law Firm. We represent the district in property tax collections. I know there's some familiar faces on the board, and there's some new faces on the board. So let me just, again, introduce myself. Good to see those new faces there and the old faces and friends. We represent the district in property tax collections. The report I prepared for you tonight sort of gives you some highlights on your property tax collections, both current tax collections and the special work that we do in delinquent tax collections. And let me just preface by saying I think the district has had a good year in the collections since I've last reported to you. And I've got a series of charts that I'll go through very quickly and be glad to answer any questions that you have, because I want to make sure I get that big tip at the end of my presentation, so I'll try to be short and quick. The first chart that you're looking at there, this just compares the last 5 years of the district's taxes, the actual tax levy and the collections that you've had for your tax levy as a percentage of collections. And as you can see, this past year in 2022, the district collected 98.44% of its taxes. That's from October 1 of 2022 through the end of the district's fiscal year, which is August 31st of 2023. And that's the same for each of those years there. The district's fiscal year, the percentage of collections. Last year, 98.44 is very similar to what you've had for 2021, a little bit above 2020, and similar to 2019 and 2018. And this is typical of the district. Many years ago, I've been doing this for a while for the district, actually since 1987. And for the last 10 or more years, the district's normal average collection has been hovering in the 90% range. You go back a few years before that, it was down about in the 97% range. And when you're talking about a levy, which last year was $100 million, 1% is a lot of money. And so having the district's overall collection percentage rise over the years to 1%, I think it actually is a reflection of what really drives property tax collections is the ability of people to pay. And I think that's what you see in Waco ISD in our community is that people have jobs, people have the money, they're responsible for their debts, and they pay their debts. And that's what you see in a rise in the overall collection percentage of the district. I think it's a very positive sign. Just go ahead. The next chart I have, it's the same sets of years, that is the district's fiscal year for the last 5 years, but I've added into the collections of during the fiscal year, not just the current year tax collections, but any penalties and interest and delinquent collections that I assist the district with. And when you add all those dollars into the same category, the same time period, the district actually collects in property tax revenue, when you add in delinquents, over 100%. This past year, you collected 100.24% of your levy. And as you can see, for all the years except for 2018, you typically collect over 100% of your levy when you add in the prior year's collections during the same period of time. That is from October 1 of a year through August 31st of the next year. And I think that's a hopeful thing to make sure that you've got the revenue that you need to keep things going for the district. And this chart just basically shows what's left of those 5 years of tax collections, of tax levies. Actually, and this is collections through September 30th of 2023. The 2022 taxes, there's 98.55% of those has been collected. And the other 4 years, over 99.5% of those years of taxes have been collected. Less than 0.5% of each of those 5 years is still outstanding today. And I'll just hit on that in a quick second. So there's a very high collection of property taxes. A very small percent of those taxes don't get collected, a very small percentage in account receivable ways. And these 3 pie charts hopefully represent exactly how we impact the district, or our job for the district. Each July, the district turns over to us the unpaid taxes from the prior year. And for example, the pie chart at the top of this chart, these are the 2022 taxes that were outstanding July 1 of this year, 2023. You turned those over to us just a few months ago, and since that time, we've collected $852,000 of your taxes, about a third that you turned over to us in just a few months. The balance of the taxes, we're continuing. Some we've actually entertained some litigation and worked with other ones. We've actually worked with taxpayers to enter into payment agreements, and we're continuing our collection activities on the balance. The pie chart on the right side, these are the taxes you turned over to us in 2022. Last year, we've collected 77% of those taxes, about $1.5 million that you turned over to us. It's been collected. And on the right side, the 2020 taxes you turned over to us a couple years ago, we've collected 83% of those taxes. And those colored wedges, that's the difference between 100% and less than 0.5% of the whole total balance that you have. And how do we go about collecting those taxes? Well, we're lawyers, and it sounds onerous, but we really try not to be. We send out notices to your taxpayers throughout the year, and a lot of what we do is we contact your taxpayers. It's not about taking people's houses or filing lawsuits, which we do. We don't take people's houses, we do file lawsuits, but we don't take people's houses, that's for sure. But mostly what we do is we engage with the property owners who owe delinquent taxes. If they owe delinquent taxes, we send them notices, we contact them. There's a constant a flurry of people coming in and out of our office that we talk to. We sit down and visit with them and see what's causing their problems so that they can't pay your taxes on time. And we work with them on setting up payment plans that fit their schedules and make sure they're also entitled, I'll talk a little bit more about that in just a second, to make sure they're entitled to all the tax benefits that are allowed under the property tax code, and primarily for property owners and residential property owners. That's the resident homestead exemptions. If there's any benefit that they're entitled to that we look at the records not getting it, we make sure that they go through the proper steps, either contact the appraisal district or tax office, and get that benefit in place so they minimize their tax liability to the district and hopefully can recover it, and we can recover what taxes are ultimately due to the district.
May I ask a question, please?
Yes, sir.
Back on the pie chart, what is research in progress?
That's the balance of taxes that we're continuing our collection activities on. I should have maybe just touched on those wedges. Obviously, the red wedge, those are ones that we've actually filed lawsuits or recovered judgments in favor of the taxes. The light blue are the ones that we've entered into payment agreements with your property owners. The yellow ones are the little yellow wedge, or some that we've determined that you're probably never going to collect. And the ones that are maroon, that's the wedge that we're continuing to work through the unpaid accounts on those that's still outstanding to the district. And I don't want to take too long because I don't want to lose that tip, but a great majority of your really unpaid accounts are accounts that under state law, if you're a property owner, as your resident homestead, and you're a senior, which means you're 65 years or older, or you're disabled, or you're a disabled veteran, you're entitled to file a deferral. And that means if deferral is you don't have to pay your taxes, there's no penalty that's assessed against them when you don't pay your taxes. The interest that's accrued is very less than what it is otherwise. And we cannot, under state law, you can't be sued, you can't have any action taken against you to collect those taxes. And on everybody's tax roll, the various taxing jurisdictions I represent, there's a large quantity of their delinquent taxes that are people have filed deferrals on because they don't have to pay their taxes and they need that money for the most part just to get by in life. So that's really what's left in that it's a short question, or a long answer to a short question, but that's what you get for asking a lawyer.
Thank you.
And I apologize.
Sorry to interrupt.
I apologize.
I just didn't know. Thank you.
Actually, there's courses that they teach us that. So we do engage with your taxpayers. We send out notices, we make phone calls, they come into our office, we sit down, we visit with them, and that's a great part of how we get through their tax collections. And finally, or a couple of last points I'll make is typically for every taxing authority, once your taxes are levied in October of a year, there's usually reductions and corrections to your tax roll as the year goes by. And we file audits with the comptroller's office to show them how much money the district loses in a particular year. This past year, in 2020, since I've met with you last, we filed an audit for the 2020 year, and we actually recovered $1.7 million for the district. We filed the paperwork, and the district was reimbursed $1.7 million from TEA. And so as the district goes through the year and it has corrections and changes to the roll, we capture those things and make a reporting to the TEA and recover as many of those dollars as we're possibly able to do so. And finally, I just wanted to point out just a couple other observations. Is that some of the major changes that occurred this year under Senate Bill 2 that was passed by the legislature in special session. Last year, your levy was $103 million. This year, it dropped $14 million. That's because of major tax rate compression, and the additional homestead exemptions. And we do work with a lot of your taxpayers, as I mentioned, to help them get their taxes paid. But there's about 584 people we're certainly not going to be seeing because the new exemption that goes into place, assuming it passes next year and next month, we all assume it will be, is $100,000. And that means if your house is valued at $100,000 or less, you're not going to owe Waco ISD school district taxes. And frankly, a lot of the people that we have come through our office and we visit and talk with are people in that category. And I hope they don't take any offense, but we're not going to be doing business with them anymore because they're not going to be owing Waco ISD. And frankly, I think that's a very good thing. And even for people in a little bit more higher, but more modest homes, substantial decrease in their property taxes to Waco ISD. And I think that's really a positive thing for our homeowners who are struggling to get by. So I just wanted to point that out to the district and the school board and make you aware of that. If you're not already. And again, I hope I wasn't too long, get most of my tip. And thank you for letting me be here tonight.
Yeah. Does the board have any questions? Any questions? Mr. McCurry, I just want to thank you so much for taking such great care in a sometimes sensitive subject. And I just really appreciate that you live and work here and that you take that care to contact them and to also help them with homestead exemptions and all that. That really does show a tremendous amount of care for our community and specifically for the families of many of our students. So thank you so much for that. We really do appreciate it and all the hard work that you've been doing. And I agree with you that homestead exemption is a blessing and has wonderful benefits that I don't think we had anticipated. So, yeah.
Thank you very much, and we look forward to working with the school district, with the school board, and with your taxpayers in the future to assist them to getting over the hurdle of property taxes. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, next we have information items and reports. Is there any discussion or anything that needs to be pulled from 7B, 7C, 7D, 7E, 7F, or 7G? Any questions on any of those? I actually have a question on 7D, just the literacy data, and I feel like this is a very complex, could be open-ended answer, but we're noticing that on the literacy data for first grade, it seemed like everyone in their proficiency was kind of 50% or higher. And then it dipped down in second grade fairly drastically. And again, I know this is I used to teach, so I know it's a complex answer, but do you have is it summer slide or what the?
So let me explain that test. You need to come to the microphone. Yep.
I just saw it and I couldn't resist asking the question because I thought, well, that's a pretty significant dip, so I just.
So what you're looking at on that particular report is students who achieve the district benchmark right now. The district benchmark is set at 70%. So basically, if a student scored 70% or higher on the benchmark right now, according to their level, so that's what you're seeing. So basically, those students would be pretty secure.
Yes.
And so it's instead of growth, like a student's grade equivalent, you're looking at a group, and you can set that GE, or not the GE, but you can set that district benchmark at different levels, but we have ours set at 70.
70. Yep, that makes sense.
So, yeah, so that's what you're looking at. The other thing within that, and that makes that report kind of, is that it's students currently enrolled now. So you received data the last time for beginning, middle, and end. And that data, it only pulls from students currently enrolled at that time. So for instance, if a student was here at the beginning of the year and left, of course they would drop out. But if a student came to us the last month and a half of school and was here for testing, and we tested them a part of the data, but they hadn't been here the whole of their time, they would show up in that ending score. So that's why underneath those graphs, there's a little disclaimer that says on some of these, there are students represented at certain points that may not be represented in the other just because they were here during that testing window and not the other. But that's what you're looking at in terms of overall. So right now you have your kiddos coming out, if they're scoring 70% or higher on that test is what you're looking at. So summer slide, maybe.
Second grade test
Second takes a jump.
Bit harder than the first grade test.
Oh, yeah. In first grade, they take early literacy, which is a different test.
Gotcha.
And then for second grade and on up,
It's
they
the
take
normal.
STAR REN.
Gotcha.
So it is a different test.
That could explain everything just in
Yep.
that. Okay, perfect, thank you. I think that was probably Yeah, they measure the same, but yes, test is different, and it's the first time they're seeing it. That makes sense. Thank you for answering that question. Okay, hearing no discussion on information items and reports, we'll move on to number 8, consent agenda. Is there anything that anyone would like pulled? Jonathan, would you like anything pulled? Mr. Davis, would you like anything pulled? Sorry, I called you Jonathan, Mr. Grant. Mr. Vidania, would you like anything pulled?
No.
Mr. Ochoa? And Mr. Patton? Okay. Then I will entertain a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented. Thank you, Mr. Ochoa. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Grant. Is there any discussion, Mr. Grant?
No.
Mr. Davis? Mr. Ochoa? Sorry, Mr. Vidania? Mr. Ochoa? Mr. Patton? Okay, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Moving on to item number 9, consider, discuss, and take appropriate action regarding resolution approving renovation, construction, and financing of an addition to McLennan Central Appraiser Center. Joe Bobbitt. I will, as you're walking up here, I will say I was really excited to see this one because I have contested my my text, anyway, and I've been in that area and in that waiting office, and it is quite small, and yeah, so I was excited to see this one.
Well, good evening. Good evening. My name is Joe Bobbitt. I'm the Chief Appraiser for McLennan County, McLennan Central Appraisal District. And so what we have realized is, like the board chair was saying, is that our office is quite small. It was originally a call center, and so the building was not designed to have any traffic really. And so we get quite a bit of traffic during the summer as we send out our letters and invite everybody to come see us. And so what we have realized is that people are already upset when they come see us, and sticking them in a little tiny room just makes it worse. So what we're asking, it's a technical requirement. We need 3/4 of the 42 entities to approve any kind of real estate transaction, whether we remodel, buy, purchase, sell. We have to have approval from the entities. And so we're asking for permission and for y'all to sign a resolution allowing us to go forth and build an addition to our building. We're proposing a 2,500 square foot addition, which would allow us to expand our customer service and have 6 customer service staff, basically interacting with customers at the same time, as opposed to one right now, one at a time. And then it'll also allow us to double our size of our ARB waiting area, because right now we have about 30 chairs that we can kind of have people waiting. And we'll be able to roughly have about 60 chairs. We can connect our parking lot in the back, where you'd be surprised how many people drive in with a trailer and then can't get out. So you'll be able to get around the building entirely. So we think it's a good idea. We have looked at some other alternatives. They seem to be quite a bit more expensive, and we're not trying to increase our spending. In fact, what we're proposing is our current, we're not asking for any additional money. That's kind of the primary, I guess, the main point. And so our current loan mortgage is $700,000 is remaining on it. We have reserve funds around $1.6 million. We will pay off that existing note. We will finance the building with a new financing agreement, and it will stay. Our current mortgage payment is $127,000 a year. Our intent is to stay at that or below, hopefully below. That way, going forward, we're not asking for any additional money, but we'll have a better facility to have the taxpayers come visit. If you have any questions, I've got little slides.
They're the slides.
That's our exterior waiting area. There's 16 seats. We had 200 people the other day when tax bills went out. That came and visited us. That's the customer service one window that we have right now. Then there's a hallway, and people tend to get lost. They go down there to the ARB waiting area, and then they can't find their way back out somehow. And those are our 30 chairs where people wait. And we will typically have, we schedule about 400 a day. And the hearings are 15 minutes. They're supposed to be 15 minutes. They tend to take 20 to 30. And we have 5 panels. This will allow us to, the little purple square is the existing ARB room. And so we're going to build 2 more little rooms, and the green area is what we're going to add on. And so it'll be 2,500 square feet. It'll mainly be for customer service and our mapping department, because those are the two that interact with taxpayers the most. The little purple box is where mapping is currently, and we're going to move them out of the way. And so we're going to turn the mapping area into two additional ARB hearing rooms, more waiting area. And so we'll have 7 panels total, so we do 7 hearings at a time. And then our parking lot, we've got a pretty decent sized lot, and it just doesn't connect. So that'll be, we think it'll be another 60 to 90 spaces. Because right now, we have people park over at Stripes or at the baseball field across the street. So that's kind of annoying also.
Yeah.
And these are all the alternatives that we looked into, very short version of them. They got costly very quickly, so.
You sure you don't want some portables we have coming available?
We could sell them to you.
We did.
Cheap. We'll give them to you cheap.
Yes, sir. We did consider that.
Kids had to do it.
I can think of a good way to have less people in there.
Yes. We're not opposed to it. The price is right. I'd have to talk to my board about it, but hey.
Okay, well, I will entertain a motion for approval of resolution approving the renovation, construction, financing of the addition to the McLennan Central Appraisal Center.
I move.
Thank you, Mr. Patton. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Ochoa. Is there any discussion, Mr. Grant?
No.
Any discussion, Mr. Davis? No. Any discussion, Mr. Vidania? No. Any discussion, Mr. Ochoa?
Nope.
Any discussion, Mr. Patton?
No.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Passes unanimously. I'm looking forward to this new building because I've been in there every year.
Appreciate it. If y'all need us to come back in April when we send out the notices, we're willing to come out and explain totals, values, other fun stuff. So just let us know.
Well, we appreciate it. Thank you so much. Okay, moving on to item number 10, review and discuss the Waco High School construction project. Mrs. Barrera.
Good evening, Madam President, Dr. Kincannon, members of the board. So we're here tonight to give you a construction update on Waco High School, which you approved September 29th, 2022, GMP number 2. And we just want to show you what's been going on. And this is kind of a good thing right now because you'll be there in person next Monday and you'll be more familiar with what you're seeing based on what you see today. I'm happy to have with us tonight Andrew Faust with O'Connell Robertson. You know Andrew, you've seen him. Mitch Kennedy, who is a senior superintendent, is that right? Yes. With Rogers O'Brien. We also have Allison Harper, who is project engineer on the job site, and Braylon Byford, who is the director for Rogers O'Brien here in Waco. So with that, I'm going to let Andrew take it from here with the pretty pictures, and I'll be back in a little bit.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks again for having us here. We do have some fun things to share with you tonight, so we can roll the presentation. Oh, it's right here. I do that. Here we go. So we have some fun, pretty pictures to share. And here it is. So we're going to start out at the student entry of the new school. You're going to see a split screen of an animation on the bottom and an actual drone footage of the site as it is standing currently. Cool. So here we're going to start. This is right where 42nd Street used to be at the student entry. And we're going to be swinging around, heading towards New Road. Wow. You can see that's the student entrance, which is that hallway that runs straight through Waco High School, all the way to the main entrance. We'll swing around the Performing and Fine Arts area. This is band here on the left, and then you have your choir. We're going to go now fly into the courtyard. This is going to be this large central dining commons courtyard where there's plenty of seating for outdoor dining. There's an art area for the visual arts, which is right there, reading areas for the library, dining commons. And as we pull back through here, you're going to see the 2-story classroom wing here on your left. We're kind of going to zoom around that. And you can see how far Rogers O'Brien has come already with steel erected. I'm sure if you've driven past there, it's starting to look pretty intimidating, as you're driving along New Road. whereas it's been all underground for quite some time. So we're wrapping around this. All the science classrooms are going to be on this side of the school, and we're going to finish right here at the main entrance that you've seen renderings of probably up until this point, with the admin area on the left side there.
Could you play that again?
Of course.
Thank you.
Is that Lion's Way right there at the front going?
Yes, you'll see it right at the beginning and at the end. So it's this one straight corridor that goes straight through the center of the school. And there'll be some plans that you'll see later in the presentation, which will help explain that some more. But
Main entrance only has 2 sets of doors. Is that what I saw?
correct, yes. It's going to go here. So again, yeah, this is the student entrance, so there's a student parking lot. That's a grass band practice field that you see on your left side there for where all the band would march. It's in really great proximity to that band hall, which is on the corner we're gonna come to in a minute. They have their own large overhead door there for rolling big instruments in and out, as well as direct access to that band practice yard. Yeah, again, this commons, this large courtyard is multi-tiered, so it can be really good use for rallies or outdoor events or other gatherings that the district would like to hold there. Plenty of space for seating and lots.
Is that a fly system over the theater?
Oh, yes, there is a large fly loft. That's the big thing that you're seeing. That was where Rogers O'Brien started working, was on probably the most complex part of the building, structurally speaking, and tallest and most kind of monumental.
And we're going to have the 2 color, the stone and the white brick?
Correct, yeah. We have 2 different brick colors that we use interchangeably, and then the kind of a limestone, which you see there at the front entrance, as well as the 2 different metal panels. There's a darker one and a lighter one used in different locations. And then that main entry canopy has a wood grain soffit metal panel that's going to be up underneath to kind of provide some warmth at that main entrance.
That big rounded wall that's outside right now,
Yes.
that's the ramp to come into the facility?
Well, we're actually going to talk more about that on a later slide, but it's a
Go ahead.
monumental kind of design feature that's part of the central commons area.
Okay.
So,
One more question. The PAC, how many seats
how many seats?
in the PAC?
Oh, in the auditorium, 600.
Okay.
Any other questions?
In the courtyard area, is it wheelchair accessible? I couldn't really tell.
It sure is, yeah. You can enter it from the main level is kind of the upper story, and you can access that directly to that top level. There's a ramp in the courtyard itself, as well as you could go to the elevator in the 2-story area, go down the elevator and exit the lower level of the classroom addition and come out to the ground, like the lower level of the courtyard. So fully accessible. And all securely fenced in with fencing along the new road side, so it's all secured. All right.
Show us some more.
Sure will. Well, I'll hand it over to Mitch here.
Good evening, everybody. Mitch Kennedy. I'll give you a little shot on the site progression. There's a little timeline here from June of last year. When we showed up, the Little League fields were our place of starting in 42nd Street. You'll see as it's progressing through the dirt work for the subgrade for the school. And then you have slabs going in for the PAC as we started that direction, working across to the academic wing. And then we finished back here in the CTE wing. Here's the layout of the school itself and its footprint entirety. Currently you can see what's up metal-wise, what's poured. And it'll give you a little graph. Our trailer's on the far left over here, and we'll bring y'all in where the area M is with the Performing Arts Center. Take our tour through there and up to the library, and if the rain cooperates, we'll take you through the whole thing. But that's how it is right now. It's probably a little bit more now since a few weeks have gone by.
Mm-hmm.
Student parking will be between y'all's trailer and the building?
Just south of our trailer, right across south of 42nd Street.
So that'll be Q and K?
Q and K,
Yeah,
okay.
just off the corner of K and Q.
Okay.
Where's faculty parking?
Staff parking is over where the existing school is. Once we take that down, it's right off of Colcord, just down from D, and just above the future tennis courts and practice fields.
So that's going to be where the tennis courts and practice fields are, is right there as well?
Off of Colcord and 44th, yes, sir.
Okay, wow.
I have a random, well, most of my questions are random, sorry.
We're up for random.
For the practice fields, for football, soccer, band, I know that university, we don't have lights at the practice field for the band. Will we have lights for the practice fields here?
I believe one of the fields will be lit, utilizing some of the same lighting we already currently have out there. The rest, there will be 2 practice fields that are not lit, and then the band practice field, which is not directly lit.
Pretty standard.
Because I know that the band, when they do their night practices, need lights. Okay. Thank you.
All right, on to some work accomplished out here at Waco High School. Here's some of our early pours, midnight pours. This is the first pour of the academic wing. Currently roughly over 1,000 cubic yards been put on the ground, covered over 500 tons of rebar, roughly enough concrete to fill up a couple Olympic swimming pools.
Wow.
There's some boys and me at night. We're doing most of our pours at midnight, and so we can wrap it up by the early mornings. And this is first slide of some of the accomplishments out there.
Y'all are doing that for the heat?
Yes, sir. Heat, traffic, access, the quantity of concrete to get from the plants. There's so much building going on in Waco, Texas right now, it's hard to get concrete on a steady basis from the suppliers.
Wow.
On the second one here, we're in the steel structure area, up to 65%. There's over 900 tons of steel standing up. That's enough equated to about 50 18-wheelers of material hauled in and stood up currently.
How long is it going to take to clear out? Once you finish the building, then you start scraping up all the stuff that's left around. How long does that take? Another random question looking at this, it's like a big mess. And I know that you got to put out grass and plant trees and stuff. How long does it take once the building's complete to you guys vacate and say, here you go? Sorry.
It's turning over in mid 2025. At the point we move the kids in, we'll immediately go to the back of the school and demo the old school. But when we leave that footprint and they move in, everything will be, landscape will be in, sidewalks, entrances. So matter of a few months.
Well, with how fast you've built that, with how fast I've been seeing it go up as I pass through by every day, I
Yes, ma'am.
imagine that you guys are probably, this is not your first rodeo.
No, it's not.
How long do you anticipate to demo?
Dib on that is set for about 3 months. So we got 6 months from the time we take it down to finish up that backside. Practice fields in the parking lot and some utilities that still need to go
So
in.
probably into the summer?
Yes, we're scheduled to turn the whole thing over in December of 25.
Great.
Thank you, sir.
And there's one more slide.
Yeah.
My favorite part is the underground highway we've installed out there. This is all your sewer, water, fire line, and storm. We put in roughly 2 miles of pipe. It's all installed. We've made our public tie-ins, passed all our public inspections in the right-of-way, and everything we do from here out is private. So we're moving right along.
Way to go.
Yes, ma'am. Any questions?
No more landmines digging up?
No, sir. We didn't dig any up. I'll let someone else take over. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
For the record, there was none on our site, so we were fortunate. Those were some interesting facts, obviously. I think my favorite from that whole list is the underground highway. I've never heard that before, and I'm putting it in my toolbox now. So, just a couple more interesting facts. about this project. For those that don't know, I am a native Wacoan. I was born and raised here, so that first step means a lot to me. We've accomplished 70% roughly awards to local contractors. That's a feat that not a lot of people can say on a size of project this is. So I think the team has done very well. We've all done a tremendous job reaching out to the local community and making sure as much money stays here in Waco. The other couple bullet points are just some good metrics for us to show that we are on track schedule-wise. So compared to baseline, it shows that we're roughly around 30%, so we're right on track. So I think we're hitting our mark right now. Okay.
All right, I'm back again to talk about that radius wall that I had the question about earlier. So this is one of the other achievements we wanted to kind of just highlight of a big accomplishment that, you know, working together with Rogers O'Brien, we were able to complete successfully. So you may have noticed that large radius wall as you're driving across New Road, and that is a major design feature in our central dining commons area. So right across from the kitchens, there's a large area where there's going to be seating, where that's kind of the central hub of the entire school, right in the middle, and that's right through the middle of Lions Way, so everyone's going to be walking in and out of that space all throughout their day. And to get down to the lower level, because again, you enter in on the upper level and walk down to the lower level of the classrooms, we have this large monumental cast-in-place concrete stair that kind of goes down, has a landing, and then turns right down into the classrooms on the lower level. And accompanying that is this very large curved radiused and canted wall. So we wanted to challenge Rogers O'Brien and their construction techniques on how to create this major feature, design feature in the school. So I'm going to kind of bring Mitch back up here again to talk through some of the challenges and the achievements that they did with this design feature.
If this large school wasn't enough to play around with, let's do a feature right in the middle of it. So the wall itself, it's roughly 60 foot long. It's 18 foot tall. It's about 3 foot thick at the bottom and 1 foot thick at the top. A little over 100 yards of concrete went in. I have to say, this is the first wall that's ever been built in the world like this. It's 1% more than the Leaning Tower of Pisa. So it was just a little bit of a challenge to get that can in. And the blocks you see in the wall are the future lights for the steps. It'll be regular lighting and emergency lighting at all times. And it's one for every other step. It was a feat that it took a lot of people, a lot of planning, a lot of strategic work, and just a lot of sweat and tears. But we're very proud of that's my baby right there. So we're proud to turn it over to Waco High School.
Great. Very cool.
So I just wanted to kind of refresh your memory on some where we started and where we got to over this last year. So, you know, it was a big challenge for us to bring this project in on budget. And as you've heard around your, you know, conversations with other public entities and across the state, projects weren't coming in on budget. And, you know, I am so proud that Waco ISD and Rogers O'Brien and O'Connell Robertson worked together as a team to make this happen and protected the program and the quality of this building for, you know, the generations to come. So, you know, the great collaboration started, you know, over a year ago, and it continues to this day. I mean, Rogers O'Brien and O'Connell Robertson work every single day to reduce cost, to control cost, because, you know, just think about when you're putting 2 miles of pipe underground, you're going to find something you weren't expecting. You are. That's just given. I mean, there's all kinds of things that come up that you weren't expecting, and they have been so diligent. You know, we're in good shape on the project, and, you know, we're all committed to the success. So I have to really say that, you know, they're on budget and they're maintaining their milestones, and that's what we want to see on a $140 million high school. That's a big deal.
That's great.
Those boulders that were in the ground. I had so many people asking me, where are those things going in the school? And I said, no,
They're not in the
dug
school.
out of the
They're
ground.
off at a landfill now. Those were from the Parkfield Airfield. We dug them up about 20 feet underground when we got to the lower level of the academic wing. And they just started popping up all over the place. Different shapes, different sizes. And we sat around and they hung out there for a while, but then we finally had to make room for the rest of the building and moved them out to the landfill. They were recycled, by the way.
Some of the fun things we're doing besides finding concrete blocks under the ground. One of the big things that's important to us as a project team, building Waco High School, is to engage our community. We want the kids that this high school is going to be turned over to eventually we want them to be excited about it. Construction is obviously exciting and fun for us, but we want to show the next generation of leaders that this can be an option for them as well. We like to educate and show the kids that this is something that they can be involved in as well. What I guess considered is non-traditional for a lot of people, but there are many options, and we like to share those with the kids as well as getting them excited about their brand new high school. So some of these pictures that you're going to see on this slideshow, there's a group that we've been working with for, I guess, over a year now at this point. We've been working with associate principals at Waco High School to get together a group of student ambassadors. There's a group of 10 of them now who will be the first graduating class of the new Waco High School. And they try to meet with us about every 6 weeks, a month, and we like to show them just the progress on the building, of course, but we like to teach them some things about construction along the way. The one that you see there in the middle was an engagement we got to teach to them about our BIM process, which is 3D modeling, building informational modeling. It's a whole department that we have at Rogers O'Brien, but we also wanted to teach some of the kids who might be just more tech savvy. This is an option for them as well. The entire building is built in a 3D model, and it's a way for them to see what the high school will look like before it's built. We also had the opportunity to show this to the Waco ISD facility staff to kind of help them and make sure that all the work that's going into it will be making their jobs and lives easier as well. So the students will be excited, but we're also turning this building over to y'all and the staff and Waco ISD as a whole. So we want y'all to be comfortable with that as well. And that program allows us to do that. And we're really proud of it. It's had a great turnout. The kids ask all kinds of questions, and they're getting more and more open every time we talk to them. So they're getting excited.
Finally, just a few other engagement opportunities that we participate in and have for since our presence here in Waco. The last 2 years, we've been part of the Sure Prize Patrol with the Waco Education Foundation. This is the second year that I've been blessed to hand out a couple grants. This year went to Miss Winter, art teacher at Waco High School. For those of y'all that were there, that's an exciting time. She was surprised. I love seeing the look on the faces of the teachers that received these grants. Other events that we participate in the last 2 years has been the Fun Fest. We spend a weekend coming in and setting up table, collaborating and talking with the community about the upcoming school year and what to expect. And it's been fun this year. It was held at Waco High School. That's John and Mitch came in on a Saturday, very late notice, and they came and knocked it out. Groundbreaking ceremony was a fantastic event. Obviously, everybody was there that saw that. And then the Guama College and Career Fair. It's just another avenue for us to go and educate these young kids that, hey, there's opportunity out there, and there's a fit for everybody. So we are pleased, blessed, and so gracious that y'all allow us to come in and help participate with that.
Here's some of our up-and-coming work. What we shoot for is getting our steel structure topped out as our first milestone. We move into that to dry end of the building. And then after that, our lucky is to power on the building for permanent power, get things going, get conditioned air going, chill water and everything, so we can start our fine finishes. We've been lucky to work with Encore. They've set one of the transformers, and they've got another one. They wanted to set it today, but it's a little too muddy out there. But we're working real good, close with them and Atmos. So these are some of the breakdowns of some of the areas we work through as it relates to the map of the different quads. But that's what we got there for milestone schedule. Any questions?
Some air conditioning right in time for summer. Huh?
Yep.
That's what's driving it.
Yes. Yeah. Any questions? I'm just really excited. Thank you guys for all of your work. I drive by every morning as I drop my daughter off to school, and I kind of always peek through and kind of say, okay, what are they doing now? And just really appreciate, keeping us in budget and really the ways that you've given back to our students. It really does mean a lot to us. And so just really thankful for all of y'all's hard work. I know that this is not an easy task, and I'm very thankful for what did you call it? The radius wall that's 3 feet wide at the bottom, 1 foot at the top. That seems like a, really neat feature for our kids. A castle wall. So, yeah. Well, thank you guys for everything. Appreciate it. Thank you for coming. Okay. Moving on to item number 11, announcements.
Good evening, trustees, Dr. Kincannon. Monday, October 30th, this coming Monday, is a student holiday and staff development day, but it's still going to be a very busy day around the district. That evening, beginning at 5 p.m., we will be opening this administration building to our employees and their families for our second annual WISD trick-or-treat event. Costumes are encouraged and employee IDs are required. If you have a chance to even just travel right now through the hallways, I can see a lot of decoration already going up. There is a competition amongst floors. Last year was our HR team that won the top prize. I don't know if they will defend that this year because I'm seeing some great decorations. But again, that's Monday night, 5 p.m., opening this building to our employees and their families to come trick-or-treat on our 10 floors. Also, she said that from the beginning. That's what she wants to be. Mountain View's Fall Festival is also Monday night from 5:30 to 7 p.m. and the campus specifically asks that we invite the board to attend that as well. Tuesday, October 31st, so the next night, Waco PD, Waco ISD PD, and athletics will be hosting their very popular community-wide trunk or treat at the Waco ISD Stadium beginning at 6 p.m. Always a great time for our community, and we hope to see you there too. Early voting for the November 7th, 2023 uniform election is underway, running from Monday the 23rd through Friday the 3rd. Texas constitutional amendments are included on the ballot, and McLennan County Elections has compiled resources about those specific amendment items, along with polling locations and times on their website. Get out and vote. Our next board meeting will be held on Thursday, November 30th, following our district's week-long Thanksgiving break, which will run from November 20th through Friday, November 24th. Thank you so much.
Great, thank you. The admin building, I don't know what you call that, trick-or-treating is really amazing. I walked through and I was like, Kincannon, everyone here is so creative. Just really.
And the business office is the most creative.
Yeah, just really impressed. Really impressed.
They're vying for that top honor this year. They got a customer's choice. 4th floor is what I'm hearing. So yes.
I always love a little healthy competition. Ooh, what's the prize?
Do we have a prize? We do? Okay.
Oh.
I'll show it to you. It is a custom-made pumpkin with some decorations that we write. It's like a trophy. And we also provide a breakfast.
Ooh.
To the floor that wins. But the trophy
is what
worthy
everyone's
of display.
going for.
I think HR displayed it for a year. So it is now back in my office area if you'd like to see it before it gets awarded.
Yes. Thank you.
Sure the 10th floor won't win.
Thank you, Elizabeth, for that. Looking forward to it. Okay, the board will now go into closed session, under the Texas Education Code 551.072, 551.074. No action will be taken when we come back out. 7:57.